Hello, welcome to Maria's Ideas Teaches Us to Paint. We are here in Pittsburgh, and this is our monthly cable TV show in Bethel Park, cable TV that we film at our art studio, Johno's art studio in Maria's Ideas. We've been there 42 years in the South Side Slopes. So if you haven't seen this before, thank you for joining us. And this is the tutorial for episode 20. And it is called Let Your Light Shine. I do create each design, each painting for, sometimes we have a special guest, oftentimes we do. And this episode is just going to be myself and my co-host, Alan Levine. So let's get started. So this one, it's a lighthouse with the seagulls, a little bit of the beach, and the sunset. So what we typically use the 11 by 14 canvas panels for filming purposes. It's just a little easier. It doesn't have as much bounce and everything. So this is just a piece of paper that, just to show you, just for examples, an example here, excuse me. And you can use different size. You can use smaller, larger, but if you keep the proportions more in a rectangle like this, this will work. So what you can do, if you want to, you can sketch it on another piece of paper. You could do something like this, or you might have something of your own, and then you just fold vertically and horizontally in half, and then in half again. So I have the 16 square rectangles, and then you do the same thing on your canvas or paper or board. So I usually use a watercolor pencil on the actual, I don't typically have to do this, but if you're going to do the grid, you could use a watercolor pencil or chalk. You can use a regular graphite pencil. If you do, just keep it very light. I'm just doing this darker just so that it shows up on camera. So we have that, so that, like I said, you can measure, you can use a straight edge. It doesn't have to be that perfect. It's just to give you an idea of the composition, where to start, where to place the elements in the design. So if you just wanted to look here, you could see the reference here. If we're starting with where the lighthouse goes, which I recommend, that's the focus, and then we can always add, the water might be a little higher or lower on yours, and that's fine. But we're going to start there, and I can see that the base of the lighthouse is in this bottom row, and it's the second rectangle. So I'm going to put, and it's not quite as wide as the not quite as wide as the rectangle. I'm going to use a Sharpie here, so it's just so it shows up better. So if I do this here, okay, and that's just the width of the base of the lighthouse, and then I'll bring the sides down. You add your details and everything as you paint. All right, this is just to lay out the design. And then we have the dunes here, or within that upper portion, just something like this, and then we'll come down like that. And then the base of the lighthouse it's a little more in shadow, and you don't see as much because the sun is behind the lighthouse. So, and then we have, that would be, again, that's in shadow, and this would just be another section. This area right here is the pathway. So you don't even have to draw any of this in, but that just indicates where that everything is going. And then the horizon line, whoops, whoopsie. I do these with one take, so you can see here, there's not much of the water showing because this is so close to the water. This is from Don and Hatteras. If you wanted to make your horizon line higher, that's fine. In fact, I think I'm going to do that anyway. I'll probably do that on our painting too, just to show a little bit of more water. So let's see. So because on this, if I do it the same way, the water line would be down in here. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit more. So again, this is the horizon line. And my Sharpie is not working very good. Boy, I did not plan for this very good, did I? All right, I'm going to use my pencil. I'm going to use it darker. Okay, so there's our water line. And now the lighthouse is all the way up into second row again, same column, all the way up, not quite halfway, that little light up in here. So I'm going to, and it's not in the center because this tapers, it gets narrower as it goes up. So, but we do want to find the center. So I will find, because this is centered, it's not all the way over, this is centered in between the rectangle. I'm going to come up just about halfway, and I'll put a little mark here, and that gives me an idea of where the center is. And I will take a straight edge just to make it a little bit easier here, because it is a lighthouse and it would not be all wobbly on the edges, on the sides. And let's see, if I just do something like this, just for that little top, and then you can see the supports there, that's where the light is. I will come down here, and again, we're kind of looking up at the lighthouse. So from the perspective of when you do these little curved areas, if you did it like this, like a smiley face, you'd be up above looking down on it. That doesn't make sense. So we need to do it more, a little bit of that curved, like a frown. Okay, and let's see, that's a little wider here, and then let's find our center here. And again, like I said, you can measure if you want, but like it doesn't have to be too exact. So I'm just going to do a very light line. That's my center. I don't want that to show in my painting, but just to give you a sense of how that lines up. Now I will come down this area, this little section up here where the light is. We're going to be I'm going to bring this over. This could come out a little further, and we do want this to be wider than this up here. So if you see, if I take a pencil and draw, it actually comes up beyond this. So that's about right there. So we're going to be, so you can kind of bring that down to about, you go to the outside of that little top, that little roof on there. That's the width there. And then when you paint, you'll add all of these little details. And then this does come below, this section here comes below this horizontal line. So from here, this is where a straight edge will be handy. You come from this side and go to the bottom, not all the way out here, but where this lines up, because this is more of that, a lip on that bottom. So we were going from here to that inner line, and then from here to the inner, and there's your lighthouse. The stripes, you can turn it into a different lighthouse if you choose. If you want it to look like this one, you can draw the lines ahead of time. This one, you can see this one is slightly, this one starts slightly above this center. So again, that's a little bit of a guide. You could do something, something like that. And then we have that 1, 2, whoops, that was supposed to go down here. See, it's all about just go with the flow, right? This one, and then we have this one. So they're a little off, but like I said, whenever I paint them, I'll correct all of that. So there's the lighthouse, and then you just paint in the background. Like I said, in everything when you paint, that's when all of this detail comes in. You don't do any of that in the drawing. That's all layered. You would be working on the background first. You would add the little windows, the detail, add your little seagulls and everything. So that all comes in after you paint the sky. When you paint with acrylics, which is what we use, we always start from the back. So that's it. So that is episode 20, Let Your Light Shine. And you can check out the episode that we filmed in our studio. And next month, it will be called Bad Hair Day is the design for next month. You'll have to check back to see what that is. So thank you for joining us, and follow the pickle. Hopefully our little guy helped you out a little bit. So, okay, see you later.